Whatever you resent, you become. And once you've become that evil nature, that you pick up the identity of your mother, you become so evil. You end up attracting men or males who are just exactly as your mother. They cannot withstand you. They are so angry, they are so emotional, they are bitter about life, they don't care about men, they hate the order of God, that God above women, God above men, men above women, women above children. They hate that order. That's why they are constantly trying to destabilize that order by lying to you through feminism, that you can be equal to a man. They lie to you because misery loves company. So misery loves company. So all these radical people, they lie to women because they want a group of women so that they can feel comfortable. Now they accumulate all these women in form of lesbians, or they accumulate all these boys in form of gays, and that is not enough. Now they start even confusing them. They put them in the spirit of illusion and confusion. They tell them, you know what, you are neither male or female. We thought it's okay to love or to be in love with the same sex. And now, before we even settle on gays and lesbians, before we even settle on that, we are now transgendering. Is it not the same thing as you telling us, we see you are 102 kgs or 130 kgs, so you are fat, and then you tell us, you know what, I want you to identify me as a thin person, as a slim person. I identify as slim. Well. So you are fat, but you identify as slim. So we should accept you as slim. Yet we are seeing. Do you see the spirit of confusion? You see the spirit of confusion. So now fat people have to identify as thin people. So you don't care about your own health. You want us to be confused as you. Now we have to know, oh, you know what? This one is not fat. This one is slim. No, she identifies or he identifies as slim. And your people are there just watching. Nobody's saying anything. Your pastors, they are busy collecting offerings. Some of you, your tithe alone, the tithe that you make every time, and the offerings that you give to the churches are even more than the amount you will ever be in terms of wealth. So you give out so much tithe, and then you go to church and pray to become rich. Yet a lot of money you're already pumping in the church. So where do you expect this money to come from? Just fall from the skies and boom, you're rich. Because somebody prayed for you. Some of you are even buying nails that have been anointed. A nail that has been put in olive oil. And then you're told, this is anointed. This has your this has your nyota. Identity problems. Let's do this. Identity Fridays. Episode number 3. Santiago. Let's see what Santiago has to say. Yes, Santiago.
Hello, how are you?
All is well. How are you?
I'm good.
How do you know you're good?
I'm good. I'm breathing, man.
Breathing does not mean
Precious.
breathing does not mean you're good. do you
Okay, man.
do you get angry?
Hungry or angry?
Angry. Do you have anger?
Anger. I'll say yes.
Oh, so how would you have anger and still identify with good?
Okay. It depends.
With what?
You see, it's human nature. Mtu kukasirika.
There we go. Sugarcoating the spirit of evil by saying it's human nature. How about those humans who don't have anger at all?
Really, do they exist?
I do.
Wow. Maybe teach us on how to counter that.
That's why we do Identity Fridays. So let me ask you a question.
Okay. Yes.
Would you say you have your own identity?
Yeah. I'm already.
Have you ever forgiven your mother for lashing her emotions in you?
My mother?
Yes. What is the relationship between you and your mother?
Unfortunately, she's not alive.
How about your father?
We are good.
What do you mean when you say we are good?
We are okay.
And what is that? Yeah?
are you trying to say the relationship in between two of us, or what do you mean?
No, I'm trying to say it's very hard for you to think that you're good when you have never forgiven your father and gotten your identity over here from him. Have you ever overcome your father?
To overcome him?
Yes.
No, I cannot go beyond that.
Have you ever faced your father and told him?
My father and me being his son.
Are you married?
Yes.
Why do you sound like you just looked aside to see if she's around? So I have a question. Are you married or have you married? Which is which?
Hey.
Because I asked you, are you married, and you said yes.
I am.
You are married to who?
To my wife.
But I thought men marry. Men don't get married.
Hey, the English.
It's not about the English, it's the reality. So you see, you're actually accepting the nature of evil, that you're married and you're married to your wife. So that means the wife is the husband.
No. Oh. Okay, mimi nimeoa tena. Sijaolewa.
Amazing. Anyway, the essence of this is the reason why I do this, because let me just put you to term. The reason why I do Identity Fridays is because most of us get married or get to marry without having to get an identity. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you see, when you're growing up, were you raised by both parents, or your mother died before you knew yourself?
She just died recently.
Okay, so most of the times, good. So most of the times when we were brought up, we were born with an identity, and all of us were just perfect. Life was perfect. We had perfect peace within ourselves. That's why it's very hard for a child to get angry. But unfortunately, the ones who raises us, who happens to be our mothers, most of the times they get to impart their identities in us, and they suppress our true identities. Now we adapt their identities, and the reason why that is happening is because our fathers are so weak, and they were so weak, and they were dominated by women, and women did not like that. So they became so angry, and then they resented our fathers. And once they resented our fathers, they turned us against our biological fathers, unknowingly, because it was not them, it was the spirit that is inside them. And once they did that, we lost touch, because biological fathers are earthly representation of God to children. So once a woman turns these children against their biological fathers, these children get to have a wrong identity. They resent their mothers, and they become just like their mothers, because whoever you resent, you become. And now they end up attracting their mothers as their wives.
Yes.
Yeah, so now they become...
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
Okay, sometimes I'm like, when I try to comprehend that deep, I tend to think that men are fully responsible for what is going on in this world.
Very true.
Yeah, because I feel that a man is totally responsible. There's no excuse for that.
But did you know, the way when I started this live, I said, most of us, the things that we've done, whether good or evil, we are not responsible for what we've done. It is the spirit that inhabits us that is actually controlling us. So we don't have any power to control anything. There is a spirit inside you that you choose, either the right or evil. So you have the evil spirit inside you, it controls you, and those are the outcomes. So as much as you think men have the power to change those things, they don't have the power. They're just vessels that the spirit that is inhabiting them uses.
Now, how are we going to deal with the such spirits?
You have to forgive and overcome those who put that spirit in you.
Hey,
for example,
people who put the spirit.
Yes. For example, before you got to marry, you would have actually faced your mother to overcome her, so that you release that false identity of her from you, and then you go and forgive your father for allowing your mother to put that spirit of anger inside you, and through that you get your own identity. Now you can actually see things in a clear picture. And since your mother is not there, you should now go back to your father and forgive your father for actually becoming weak and allowing your mother to input the spirit of anger in you.
Wow, that's so deep, brother.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so you realize you see, you don't like being angry, do you?
I don't like.
Yes.
It's an abnormal feeling.
Exactly, because anger is the nature of evil. When you have anger inside you, you're just willing to destroy everything around you for you to feel better. And now you do things that you did not want to do because the spirit that is inside you controlled you to do those things. So it lied to you that if you do this, you will feel better. Once you've done that, and then the same spirit comes and lies to you, oh, you know what? You should have resisted that. And now it tells you, go and apologize. You will feel better. You go and apologize, but you never forget it because it's always in your mind. So the spirit of evil controls your thoughts. And that's how it happens. So for you to actually overcome the anger, you can actually live without anger because you are a free agent. You are a free person. But you've allowed the spirit of the devil to live in you, and now it controls you through your own anger and thoughts. So for you to overcome that spirit, you go and face your father because your mother is no longer alive and tell him, hey, father, I appreciate that you're my biological father. However, I've been resenting you for no good reason, so I apologize. Once you say that, you don't care about what your father will say, you move, and now you'll see things in a very different perspective. Your anger will go away because God will take it out, and he will give you the spirit of righteousness, and you will act upon the revelation from the spirit of righteousness. Yeah.
I see. Anyway.
Amazing, bro.
Man, let's just remain as men.
Yeah.
And take responsibility no matter what.
Yeah.
Because we are the immediate representation of our Creator.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Amazing, Santiago. Thank you so much. Amazing. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah. So the moment you realize that anything that is happening to you is not you, it is a spirit inside you, that is the moment you get your realization. And I'm telling you this for free. Some of you are in a relationship that you're so angry, you're wondering, how did I end up with this one? Which means you are unable to even look in the mirror and take a true representation of who you are, because you attract who you are. You're looking in the mirror, wondering, how did I attract this one? This one, some of the women are cooking in the kitchen and they're thinking, if I get a chance to put some poison in this one, I just destroy this one. So it's the spirit of anger inside us, and that anger came from somewhere. You are not born with anger. You're not born to suffer. Okay? Once you realize you have to drop that spirit, you have to overcome it. And that is what Christians call baptism. Baptism is not being sunk in water and coming up. No. Baptism is actually overcoming the spirit of evil, dying in that spirit of evil and resurrecting in the spirit of righteousness. What about the emotional husbands who were brought up by the single mother and they don't know who their father is? This is Martha Washira. Now listen, mothers have a way of turning children against their biological fathers. You see, when you say, if any case, I don't like this word called single mothers, because you see, the point is their mothers. It doesn't matter. What is a single mother? You can't be a single mother. There's no way you can be a single mother. Somebody made you pregnant. So you're not a single mother, you're a mother. So stop making these words a single mother to make sure that women feel good in their own position of being, getting children out of wedlock. There's nothing like a single mother. Just the same way there's nothing like a single father, because you cannot get children without their father, and you cannot get children without their mothers. So you're either a father or a mother, period. So single mother is again another beautiful name to just sugarcoat the spirit of evil. So if a child does not know their fathers, there must be a reason. One, either the mothers has actually turned them against their fathers and made them hate their fathers through their own hatred. So these mothers have remolded these children in their own image. And that's what exactly happens with these children who are raised by mothers. Sons who are raised by mothers are so emotional because in their world, they only know the emotional side of the story. So these emotions, they don't like it. Men don't like being emotional, but because you are raised by somebody who is emotional and nobody was there to protect you from these emotions, you end up becoming so emotional and you end up running away from your mother, and apparently you end up attracting a woman who is exactly just like your mother. Angry, depressed, overthinking, irresponsible, not a good mother. Okay? And she will not respect you because you will suffer, because you kept on running away from from your mother, but you ended up attracting your mother. So you become so angry. That's the role of the fathers, to actually protect their children from the emotions and anger that is coming from their mothers. And once you have a stoic father who understands God and who understands the order of God, they will actually protect these children. But because the fathers are absent and they were weak, they were interested in ejaculation, so they came and ejaculated and disappeared. They were weak, so they set you up for failure. They allowed the spirit of evil to dominate your mother, and your mother put these anger emotions in you. So you have to face your mother and forgive her. And first of all, you ask her, where is my father? Because every child has that longing of a biological father inside their hearts. They have that longing. They will never accept a stepfather as their fathers because they know inside them they don't have a relationship. Whether their stepfather is a good person or not, they don't have a relationship. So they have that void inside them, and they think that if they run away from their mothers, they will end up finding people who will fill up that void. That is them trying to find validation from outside. It's not going to happen because the real world is inside them. So they have to face their mothers and forgive their mothers so that they can overcome the spirit of evil that was coming from their mothers. That is if their mothers have actually blocked them from seeing their biological fathers. But if they are allowed to see their biological fathers, you forgive your mother, and then you go find your biological father and you forgive him. And that is it. You've overcome that spirit. Now when you walipotea kabisa, nobody runs away totally. Trust me, you. And remember, if a man runs away, you ended up attracting who you are. So you came in without an identity, you ended up attracting somebody who had no identity. So it's your fault. And I tell women this, that you are the ones who actually control access to sex and access to who to give children to. No woman will give birth to a child to a man they did not want. It doesn't even make sense. Women will carry a child for a man they want to. So women control access to sex, and they also control access to who to give children to. Men control access to finances, and they control access to who to marry. So I can have 10 women, and all of you have lied to you that I'll marry you. But I know, out of you 10, I'm not marrying anyone. I am sure. Okay? So men control access to who to marry. And that's why I tell women, you don't have a choice. This thing of saying, oh, I want to marry this type of man. You don't have a choice, because that type of man that you're looking for, it just means from inside you, you are inadequate. You're trying to run away from something, hoping that that type of man is coming to fill that void in you. Go and forgive your mother, so that you start feeling adequate. And when you feel adequate and you have your own identity, you will attract a man who knows God, who knows his role is provision exclusively, who knows to protect you and your children, and who knows to satisfy you sexually. But as you constantly start looking for a man, if any case, it is not a role of a woman to constantly or to be actively involved in looking for a man. It's so unnatural. So when somebody asks you, what is the type of man? You start saying, oh, this or that or that. You're just wasting time, because that man exists. That's very true. But he's not a man for you, because you don't have an identity.